everybody. Just to let you know, Simon, we are recording. We were just about to start recording. We usually do a little pre-recording before the interviewee hops on, but it's all good. I see you got your Elevate shirt on. We like that.
Yeah.
Nice,
so
bro.
we got Simon Whiteman on today for everyone listening. This is going to be the 11th episode of Beyond the Field Pod. You can find it on Instagram. We post reels throughout the week. Find it on YouTube and Spotify. I'm really excited to have Simon on today. He's in the San Francisco Giants organization right now. Played baseball at Yale. Simon, glad to have you on. We're just going to go through how you know Nico and how this relationship all started.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Yo,
Nice.
Paul, you know that Simon is has been with us for a while because the E is starting to fade on his shirt right now. So Simon, we
Yeah.
gotta
Say, you probably had that shirt for a while.
Been through the
I
loss
like
a few
it.
times.
That's good,
Nice.
bro.
So
At least you're
Simon,
wearing
we
it.
usually start off like asking what's like a day in the life look like for the interviewees that come on. So I know we were gonna do today, then you might have had something, and it's always like this when we're trying to plan podcasts with professional athletes. So give the listeners a little bit about, what's your day-to-day in-season schedule looking like right now.
Yeah, so right now we're on the road. We're in Bowie, Maryland. And on the road is usually a little bit more laid back, less time at the field. So I usually sleep in until between 9 and 10, wake up, get breakfast. Some places like where we are right now, it's really easy to walk to a lot of stuff. So I'll do a lot of walking, sometimes on the sidewalk, sometimes not. But
please stay on the
yeah.
sidewalk for your career's health.
Yeah, you do what you can, but get to the field at between like 12:30 and 1:30. And then, like I said, when we're on the road, it's a little more laid back. I'm gonna do some activation work, like get in the weight room really quick, stretch out, maybe some early cage time, hit on field, defense on field. If we have that option today, it's going to rain a lot, so we probably won't. But then go right into it, play a game, get out of there, do it all again the next day.
Simon, when you're lifting in season, is Brian and the guys at ATP in contact with other coaches over with the Giants, or do you kind of just do whatever the Giants want you to do?
Yeah, I'm more, when I'm in season, I'm more on what the Giants plan is. We've been doing this thing called micro dosing, which is just lifting every single day progressively throughout the week. So in times past, it's been like, get your 2 lifts in. It's usually like an hour long each time in season, compared to like 3 hours a day at ATP in the off season. But now we're doing, it's really like 30 minutes a day. You do 5-6 exercises, really just focused, intentional, get in, get out. And we use it as more of like a warm up for the day, which I really like. It's so hard, especially once you get to like July and August, to be like, oh, I got to lift today. And you got to take pre-workout, really get your mind right to do it. But now it's part of the daily routine. It's in the warm up. You get in, you get out. Not a lot of like on-field stretch, which was also a super pain in season usually. Getting your mind right to like go out, stretch for 15 minutes, throw everything. Now it just kind of flows much easier. But I still talk to Brian and the guys at ATP, especially like if I have questions on stuff, if there's something I'm trying to work on, if there's something I feel like I need more of, I talk to those guys a lot.
Nice.
How's your body feeling at this point in the season?
It's getting there. It's tough because it is only April, so you stay fresh as long as you can. I'm just, I think at this point I'm still like getting acclimated a little bit to the daily workloads, and especially I've been playing 5 or 6 games a week for us, which is really good. But just still getting used to all that. I think the season is kind of like ebbs and flows. You get to a point where you've been doing it long enough that you feel pretty good doing it every single day and you're in that workflow. And then obviously you hit a point where it's like you're getting to the end of the year and your body starts giving out, and then it's really a mental grind. But right now I think I'm just still getting used to that workload, especially like being a speed guy running a lot like I do. My legs are still getting used to it. So
yeah. What you're in AA right now, right?
I'm in AA, yep, in Richmond.
Nice. What is the team called? Richmond.
The Richmond Flying Squirrels.
I saw that. You sent us a picture with the Flying Squirrels shirt on. I was like, I need to know what team this is. Nice.
Yeah, they're good. I think they're one of the best franchises, especially in AA. I mean, they do a great job. We get a lot of fans. Parney is really connected in the community, and so it's a great place to be.
That's
Very
probably
cool.
a normal minor league team names. Like it's pretty obscure, but still like Flying Squirrels. The Phillies just like I think their AAA team is like the whatever place they're from, and like they're called the Hoagies or whatever, and the logo on the hat is like a massive sandwich.
Yeah,
Something I love asking our guys who are in pro ball that we get on here is the communication. Like, what does the communication look like between you and an MLB organization while you're in season, out of season? How do they communicate with you? Is it through GroupMe? Sometimes we've heard it's through GroupMe or some other WhatsApp. But I'm always interested in like what communication looks like with an MLB organization as a player.
yeah, we have a WhatsApp. So at spring training, we'll have a big WhatsApp that has everyone in it, 250, 300 people. And then gradually they become more specific as the season progresses. So when you break camp, you get in a WhatsApp with just your team, which will be the schedule for the day, the lineups, any sort of like team notices, bus times, stuff like that. And then as a hitter, we also have a hitter's WhatsApp, which will be more like scouting reports, plan for the day, cage times, stuff like that.
Are you getting a lot of scouting reports at the AA level? Like when you're playing every single day, basically, are you still getting a lot of scouting reports on starting arms, bullpen arms?
Oh yeah, every single day, and I think that's pretty much every level in the system. It's not just AA. The AA ones might be a little bit better, a little more refined, but in general, yeah, it's every arm. We'll get video on the starter, what pitches he throws, what his shapes look like. Our hitting coach here does a really good job with that. And then, during the game, we actually will bring up video in the dugout of whoever just came out of the bullpen, what their shapes look like. We get the scouting report, what his pitches are, velocities, movement profiles, even as far down to like what his tendencies are in certain counts. And obviously you have to take that with a grain of salt as a minor leaguer, because the minor leagues is so much about development that guys are changing their pitches. Some guys just don't have a feel for their pitch. You'll look at like their movement profile and it's super sporadic. And it's like, okay, this guy's going to throw a backup slider one day and yank one that has a lot of sweep the next day. So guys haven't really thrown enough pitches in general to have real tendencies all the time. It'll be like, oh, 3-2 count, he's 100% fastball. And then you'll get a slider and you'll look back at the dugout and be like, what was that? And it's like, well, he threw 6 pitches, 3-2 count. So, you take it with a grain of salt and you get whatever information that you think is valuable, but it's definitely there. It's a big part of the game.
Very cool. And what do you think like has really been help shaping you from the college level to the professional level? Like what has been helping you keep moving up the ranks in your development? Because, you're talking about pitchers trying to develop their game. Also hitters on the other side are always trying to develop their game. So what have you been trying to do at the plate? Obviously, we know you steal a lot of bases really fast. But what is some things that you've been working on?
Yeah. So, I mean, defense and base running have always come really easily to me. I think that's a product a little bit of being in the college system in America. It's like very defense pitching focused. I think it's easier to just, you do team defense, and it's a lot harder to focus individually on hitting development in the college system. So that stuff's always been really, really straightforward for me. As a hitter, every level in the minor leagues, you have a different challenge to take on, and it requires growth and requires development. But I really think that when you get to the high A, AA level, everyone has, as a hitter, everyone has the ability to play here, and especially in AA, every hitter in AA has the ability to hit in the big leagues. There's no doubt about it. Just like pretty much every arm we see on a daily basis, they could be in the big leagues tomorrow. The difference is consistency. It's something that's harped on a lot, but it really is true. It's like the best hitters in AA that go on to play long careers in the show, they're just more consistent. They're not going to have a 3 for 4 day where they hit 3 barrels and then the next 4 days like strike out 70% of their at bats. They're just guys that are going to chip away every day. They're going to have quality at bats. They're not swinging outside of the strike zone very often. When they do swing, they hit it pretty hard. So the biggest adjustment for me this offseason was just learning how to trust my body and my hands, be really quiet and stable, and like just let the barrel work. I think in the past, I focused so much on like mechanical adjustments and being a good hitter with a good swing per se. And it's like you get to this level and the best swing in the world with a terrible approach and a terrible mindset like doesn't play. And I've seen guys with not great swings that they do okay because they hit the pitches they're looking for and they have good at bats. And so the game happens way too quickly and it only speeds up the higher you get up to be thinking about it all the time. And so it's just like, how can I get in the box and be present and compete without thinking about anything? No mechanics, no, what he just threw me, what is he going to throw me now? Like for me, I needed to just totally let it all go. And I did that a little this offseason and, it's kind of paid dividends so far. So I'm going to stick with that for sure.
How is that mentally like for you as a hitter? I mean, for me as a hitter, I mean, I used to be very mechanical and I used to think a little bit too much. How is that for you, like trying to block that all out?
To be honest, it's totally liberating. Like last year, I had a tough year. A lot of different things were going on, but there was a lot during the year. I was trying to make mechanical adjustments, for the betterment of the career, not necessarily like to have good stats in the moment. And it's a tough path to go down when you're thinking every day, like you step into the box and you don't feel comfortable because you've changed so many things that you don't even know what your swing is anymore. And so honestly, this year, like it's been super liberating and super enjoyable to play baseball again, because I'm going to go up there and I'm going to compete with whatever I've got and trust that as long as I'm quiet with my body and quiet with my mind, I'm going to make good decisions the majority of the time. And like, it's been an opportunity for me to go up there and just whatever happens. And when I connect and find the barrel and it leaves the yard, it's like so much cooler because I feel like I didn't have to control every element of it. It's like, wow, I can do that. That just happened. That's sweet.
It's like you're not holding anything back anymore. You're letting everything loose. You're not thinking about anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, like the other side of the coin to it too is our game is so predicated on failure. Like we fail so often that when you feel like you're in control of everything and you fail, it just hits so much harder. Because like last year, it would be like, I wanted to make sure I saw the ball really well. And I wanted to make sure I only swung at strikes. And I wanted to make sure that I was like totally connected with my body and doing everything perfectly. And so when I checked all of those boxes and then still didn't have a great outcome, it would be like a soft flare to right. I would feel like that was like personally something wrong with me because I did everything right and it didn't work out. And that was just so demoralizing at times, because how many times in a full season are you going to do everything right in an at bat? Probably like 10 or 15, honestly. And so like when you get one like that and it still didn't work out, it was like, wow, I don't know how to hit. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's wrong. Whereas now it's like, I just go up and I swing and then, wow, like I didn't hit that one that well, but it blooped into right field and I feel great. Or like, wow, yeah, I really connected with that, but I didn't quite hit the right spot of the ball. It's like, all right, we're going to do it again next at bat. Let's go.
Yeah. You started talking a little bit about like just balling out and having fun. And it's something that we've talked about with on some of our past interviews. Nico's brought it up. Something for us, so I still play at the University of Tampa. I'm a grad student here, and this is the best season I've had in my college career. But I'm also working. I've found things off the field that make me happy as well, so that if I don't have a great outing or my arm didn't feel great that day, I'm not going home and thinking about it the whole time. And it's something that we always ask, like, do you have any off the field kind of hobbies that you like to do that kind of keep your mind off baseball? Because if you're thinking about baseball 24/7, you're going to go crazy. Like you said, it's a game based on failure, and you're going to go crazy. So we always ask, like, what do you like to do off the field, and kind of keep your mind right for when you are on the field?
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. I mean, that's everything you said is so true. Like this off season, I took the LSAT. I was taking a course
Wow.
for it, so I was really like deep in the trenches with that work. And the course was twice a week, and I found like when class was over for the day and I could go and hit, it was having fun again. And so, like, I think having been more of like an academic setting most of my career, I need some sort of like mental stimulation. So I do like the crossword puzzles. Sometimes we have Sudoku in the clubhouse. I try and keep occupied. I do some reading too, mostly like nonfiction stuff, but that's all kind of like pre-game earlier in the day. And then after I play, my roommate and I are watching Game of Thrones right now. I actually haven't seen it.
Oh, great show.
What season are you
Oh
on?
man.
We're on 7. We just started season
Oh, yeah.
7, so it's starting to really heat up.
That is the best show I've ever watched, in my opinion.
It's unreal. It is unreal. That show is amazing.
I couldn't do it in college because like the episodes were so long. It was also still kind of coming out when I was in college, so I didn't want to wait like a week in between episodes, and I just didn't have time. But now on a minor league schedule, like I come home and we watch an episode or two before bed. Sometimes like today with the rain and everything, if we have a delayed bus, we might watch one before, and it's like it is a good break, but you need something that you can just do outside of the field. Some guys I've noticed when they start a family actually start playing better because they do have that, like, I have a child to take care of, I have a wife and kids at home, I have like other things going on that aren't baseball. That really crushed me last year because I was only playing 2 or 3 days a week, and like I said, I was making all these adjustments and everything. And so if I played on a Tuesday, the first game of the week, I probably wasn't going to play again until Friday. And so I'd have all those days in between where it was like, I can tweak, I can adjust, I can watch video, I can do this. And like, it was way too much. And I wasn't able to turn off because I didn't know when I was going to play again. So even if I had a great day, it wasn't like, all right, let's go home and watch Game of Thrones, and then like I'll be able to do it tomorrow. It was like, I don't know when my next game is going to be. And so I've gotten back this year to playing like I did in college, like I did in high school, where it's just like, I know every day I'm going to be in the lineup. And if I'm not in the lineup, like it's just my day off. And, we play the game and then you get to go home and do whatever else you got to do.
Taking the LSAT is crazy.
I want to point out also on top of that, he was also a 2018 and 2019 academic All-American at Yale, which I think is crazy too. Just to throw that out there for the listeners.
Yeah, so we can transition a little bit to Yale right now. We haven't talked too much about it yet, but I mean, out of high school, what other schools were you looking at? Was it all Ivy League? Did you know, were you always smarter in high school and knew you wanted to use baseball to help you get into maybe a little higher education as well?
Yeah, that was it. I wanted to use baseball to get into a great school. In my mind, I was going to just, play 4 years in college, hopefully, get some at bats. I knew I probably wasn't going to play freshman year, sophomore year. So I wasn't great in high school. I was kind of a one tool athlete. I had pretty top tier speed and not much else. I mean, I put the bat on the ball, but I didn't have a great swing. I was very mechanical in the field. I didn't look smooth. I didn't have a great arm. So it was like, I'm going to play wherever I can get a really good academic quality experience and then like do whatever else comes. And so for me, I was looking into some higher tier academic schools. I looked across a couple Ivies, none of them wanted me. And in the end, it was between Yale and UConn. And I was going to go to UConn on, I guess they were going to be able to help me out with an academic scholarship, and I'd have a chance to compete for an athletic scholarship. They have an honors program there, so it was going to be pretty decent academics. but Yale was the other choice, and Yale told me that I'd be able to contribute as a freshman, like right from the get-go. And then it's pretty hard to turn down Yale for the academics, and it's right in my backyard. So I was like, actually, the very first time I went there, it was an official visit or a non-official visit. I was just taking like a campus tour, walking around with people, and it was snowing. I don't know, it must have been January or something. And we got locked out of an academic building, and it's coming down with snow. The student that was giving us the tour like didn't have credentials or something went wrong. And so we're all standing there for like 15, 20 minutes out in the snow. And I looked at my dad and I go, this place is awful. Like, I'm never coming here. It was not a good experience. And I checked them off my list right away. And then like, I don't know, 5 months later, I ended up committing. So, that's how that works.
It's funny
That's
you
crazy.
say that you weren't that good in high school and you had offers from UConn, Yale. Like, these are some pretty top tier programs in the Division One. I mean, and Yale, did you guys ever play some playoff games throughout your career there or no?
Yeah, the Yale team, we were really good. We went to a regional my sophomore year and won 2 games. And then my junior year, we also won the Ivy League, but we didn't go to the regional. So we were pretty good. I think coming out of high school, like I said, I was really just a one tool guy, but
It's
I had a work ethic, and like I was gonna give it my all. It was kind of a weird situation. We didn't have it so much at Yale, but some of the other Ivy League schools, and especially other sports at Yale, you'd have people that had the same mindset as me, like, I'm going to get into Yale and I'm going to go to school there. And then by sophomore, junior year, they're quitting their teams and they're not giving it really 100%. Like, they were really there for getting into the school and that's about it. And I was very fortunate that the baseball team didn't really have that. We kind of had this thing where it was like, when I got to campus, the baseball team was all my friends, and I didn't do a great job of like branching out and meeting a lot of other people. I did a little bit, but I think like if, sophomore year, the baseball program was like discontinued and all of my teammates transferred out or something, like I would have had a very difficult time. So those were my boys. So it was like, I'm here obviously to get a great education and do what I can, but like, I'm also here to play baseball and give it my all. And so I developed a lot throughout my career at Yale, and I had some amazing coaches. Tucker Frawley was our associate head coach, who's now the infield coordinator with the Twins. I think he does catching too there. He might be the catching coordinator too, but like by far one of the best coaches I've ever had. Senior year, we brought on a guy, Josh Schulman from Wofford, who's back at Wofford, and just fantastic coaching. But like, I put the work in, so I developed a lot, and we had a lot of success.
What was the school baseball work balance like? What did the fall schedules look like with classes, practice, and then also what did like working out and also trying to elevate your game while trying to graduate from Yale?
Yeah, the Ivy League, I think for someone who was wanting an academic career, Ivy League baseball was the best thing ever, because in the fall we'd have something like 10 team practices, maybe 1 or 2 like scrimmages against another team, and then that was it. And so come October-ish, like, we don't have team practices anymore. And it was individual workouts, which were only half hour a day. So 30 minutes a day, 4 days a week. We'd have Mondays off. And so like, you're only obligated to be at the field for 30 minutes between like 2:15 and 3. And your little individual slot was between them. So if you wanted to, you could show up at the field, throw some pants on, like stretch, throw, do your 30 minutes of defense, and then bounce. And so that gave me the freedom in the fall to take more classes, take more of a rigorous schedule academically, so that in the spring I was a little bit lighter. But what I found is the more, like, I would have a half hour individual and I'd be at the field for 3 hours. because the tougher my course load got, especially later in my career, the more I just wanted to be at the field. And like, I didn't want to go back to campus, because back to campus meant that I was going to have to sit in the books and do homework and everything like that. And so I was so productive in getting my work done on campus, so that when I went to the field, like I could just be there as long as I wanted. And I would stay until 7 p.m. some nights, just hitting off the machine or stretching or doing mobility work, like whatever I could do just to be there. And then senior spring, I ended up only having to take 3 courses to graduate. It took my thesis, an alternate, like, I mean, I guess you could call it like a concentration thesis, and then one other seminar, and it was class from Tuesday to Thursday each week. I had Mondays and Fridays off, and it was like the greatest thing ever. But
Yeah.
the balance was really, really good. Our coaching staff did a great job understanding that there were some days you had to be in the classroom. When it was our off day on Monday, like guys were taking classes and labs and everything else. Like you did not have to be at the field on Mondays, and you're expected to get your work done. But when it's practice time, like you got 3 hours during in season for a practice, like this is, give me these 3 hours and let's get our work done. And then you can go back.
That's awesome. And I kind of wanted, you said it in the beginning back there, how you were kind of a one-tool athlete, but you had a good work ethic. For our younger guys listening, can you just kind of go in a little bit on that, on how you don't have to have all the talent, and having a work ethic is very important to getting to where you want to be?
Yeah, 100%. I think realistically, even in pro ball, you need one good tool to get in the door. I think it is tough to get recruited and looked at if you don't have something that stands out a little bit. Doesn't have to be elite, but you need to do something well. But I mean, everything else is in the cards. There's nobody. If you're in the game and you have 5 tools and you do everything well, like you are a superstar and you are by far the outlier. The key for everyone else is knowing what you do well, doing it supremely well, and then doing everything else pretty good. Like you don't have to be, if you're a pitcher, you don't have to have an elite fastball and a great breaking ball and feel for a changeup. Like if you have 3 or 4 pitches that you command with plus command, plus movement, like you are, the DeGroms of the world. You are not the norm. For most other people, it's like you need one thing that you do well, and then everything else, just make sure it's not a weakness for you. And so that was my thing. Like I was always, with my speed, I wanted to be elite. Like I want my speed to play on the base paths, on defense. Like I need that to be my tool. But everything else, I wasn't going to ever have anyone look at me and say, yeah, he's really fast, but he's got a terrible arm. So like I worked this off season on throwing a lot so that I get good carry on my ball. I can get rid of it quickly, like all that stuff, because I don't want to ever have it be where somebody is going to say, yeah, he's good, but, and then they knock you for something else. And I really think like with enough work and enough intentional focus, you can bring all of your tools up to at least average, if not above average. But it does take that intentionality. It takes sitting down and reflecting and saying, like, this is what I don't do well right now. And how can I do better? Who can help me do better? And how can I track that progress and say, like, yeah, I'm making substantial gains toward what I don't do well. Because if you do 1 or 2 things really great and then everything else is pretty average, like you're going to be serviceable. That's fine.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Figuring out your weaknesses and then basically just giving them no choice. Once you go over them, it's basically just giving them no other choice to put you in, because there's no holes in your game anymore.
Self-evaluation is really important. I mean, for the younger guys listening out there, Simon's talking about, the hard conversations you have to have in your head. You're like, oh, I don't want to be average. I don't want someone to have a butt, and that's really cool to hear, honestly. Nico, I see you raising your hand. You got something.
Yeah. So, Simon, I want you to know that, the whole point of this podcast is to kind of highlight, you elevate guys and like other athletes, but it's more about like who they are, like away from the baseball field. Because like obviously people who follow you on social media, obviously like you're a pro baseball player, but we want to get the stories of those things that aren't, highlighted as much. And you kind of like skimmed over this, that you took the LSAT this offseason. Not only did you take the LSAT, you got a 173. And I wouldn't know what that score means, to be honest with you, but I saw on social media that it's in the 98th percentile for that test, which is
Oh
pretty
my God.
insane. And I one for myself, I want to know kind of like how that came up. Was this like, kind of like in the works for a while, or was this like a new thing that you wanted to try out? Because I didn't want you to just kind of like say, yeah, I took the LSAT, but all this other stuff. You know what I mean? So because I saw that, I'm like, damn, that is really cool and really impressive that you got that done this offseason.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, so I was a chemical engineer at Yale, had a concentration in energy studies. So I was going to go into kind of a renewable energy field, but I didn't really want to do the engineering part of it. Didn't really like lab work much when I was at Yale. So I didn't want to be like a hard and fast engineer. I was more interested in the application side, maybe a little policy side. And my mom has a legal background. And so like going to law school was always kind of something that might have been in the cards. Taking the LSAT was more of like how can I get a little bit outside my comfort zone and just take on a challenge this offseason? I had a really difficult year in pro ball last year, and I was not going to do that again. If the cards didn't fall my way and I found myself in really, really difficult circumstances again this year, I just, there are some guys that don't have a lot of options and have to really stick it through. And, I feel like with my academic career and some of the extracurriculars and stuff I did, like I bought my way out of that. I'm not wedded to this game, which right now actually makes me enjoy it more.
Yeah.
Because I feel a little like I'm playing with house money, but
Yeah, you're enjoying having fun. Yeah.
But yeah, taking the LSAT was a huge challenge that I could just take on this offseason, something I could fully devote myself to outside of baseball. And then also just a really solid backup plan. My biggest goal was just, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do it, but I'm only going to do it once. Like I really didn't want to take this course and go through all the effort and everything like that, and then have to take the test 2, 3, 4 times. Like I wanted to sit down and say, like, when I do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it my best, and let's see how it shakes out. And I actually scored 4 points higher on the real test than I did on any of the practice tests I took. I took like 8 practice tests, and
You're a gamer.
so yeah, it was
When
it
the
was
lights
showtime.
turn
Playing
on.
with the house's money. He's playing with the house's money.
Yeah, it was good. I got a little lucky that the test it had some subject matter that I was interested in. I really struggled on the practice test where I'd have to read like a huge passage about, I don't know, like 16th century art or something, and I'd be like, my eyes are glazing over. That's just not up my alley. But I got a little fortunate there. But yeah, it was good. It was something I wanted to do, and now I really feel like I have a solid backup plan.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, really cool.
That
You
is
brought
crazy.
up I can never say this word, extracurricular. All right,
Extra.
I'm not even gonna try and say it. But what
You
like
clearly
were
didn't go
some
to
of
Yale,
those
Paul.
activities? No, yeah, that's Iona University versus Yale University education right there.
I was so I didn't have a ton of time outside of baseball, but I was in a couple of the honor societies, just academically, Tau Beta Pi, Phi Beta Kappa. My senior year, I was in one of the societies at Yale, so I built a little bit of a network. Like I said, I really was not great at reaching out to people and making friends, so to speak, as I should have been. But just through it was more of through that Yale education, and then also just some of the people I met, some of the paths that I went down, explored a little bit. Like I think that I would hope that if I were to fall out of baseball right now, I'd at least land on my feet.
Yeah, I think definitely with your whole background, and I mean, very well spoken throughout this whole podcast so far. It's been a lot of fun. So kind of like starting to wrap up, like what does the rest of the season look like for you guys? Are you on the road for a little bit? How this might be a stupid question, but with college baseball players, obviously you get per diem money, you get money when you're on the road, but obviously you guys are getting paid to be there, so you're not getting money from the team besides like paychecks every week.
We do, and it actually went up this year with the new collective bargaining agreement, the CBA. So we get $30 a day on the road, for just like meal money and stuff, which is it's substantial. It used to be, I think, 25, and it's just, the price of things have gone up, and a lot of times, like I said, here in Bowie, there's a lot of stuff within walking distance. We're right in Annapolis, so I mean, pretty close to the capital, and obviously Annapolis is a really great place to be. But some of the other places, Altoona, Pennsylvania, and Harrisburg. Harrisburg's not too bad, but some of them it's like you're in a hotel and there's one Sheetz gas station, and then anything else is like 2 miles away. So those places are tough. You're eating DoorDash and Grubhub all the time. So yeah, we get per diem. We also get paid. Our salaries also just went up with the new CBA, which is really cool. Hoping that the new salaries are at least going to be like a substantial livable wage. So
Very cool. Yeah. No, it's funny, like when we're traveling and the coach gives us money, it's like, all right, let's go play some poker in one of the hotel rooms later, or this and that. But what are you guys traveling on the bus a lot, or are you flying to some places? Or is it a lot of bus travel?
yeah, we're in AA. We're on the bus. AAA will fly, and that's just typically because AAA affiliates are ideally close to their parent affiliate. So ours is in Sacramento, pretty close to San Francisco. They just want, they being the major league affiliate or major league organization, they want to be able to like call guys up and down. So typically AAA is pretty close, but as a result of that, the leagues are more dispersed. So AAA will fly, AA, at least in the Eastern League here, is all bus. So from Richmond to Bowie was only about 2 hours. It's our closest trip, but we'll do 8 hours to Erie, 6 hours to Harrisburg. Once a year, we go up to like Maine or New Hampshire. Those are hikes from Richmond to Maine.
What a professional bus trips look like? Are you guys playing Moff or anything like you did maybe at Yale, or is it a lot of like everyone pops their headphones in and no one really talks to each other?
We have two buses. One's the Moff bus and one's the quiet bus. So yeah, but I mean, I've been a part of some, I probably shouldn't discuss it on podcast, but I've been part of some crazy bus trips in pro ball. A couple of them, like just all bets are off, music playing, crazy. Some of them a little more
the bus
reserved.
can stay on the bus. We totally got it. No,
Yeah.
no secrets have to be told.
As soon as that bus door opens, that everything's business as usual. But yeah, no, it's fun. They're normal coach buses. We used to, in 2019, I remember in the Sally League, the South Atlantic, we had a sleeper bus, which was super cool. Instead, they're like a couple rows of normal seating, and then basically like these huge like couches that are just flat. And the overhead bin space was cots that you could lay on. And then underneath the couch was cots, like all of them going back. So I was super in on that because I had just come into pro ball. Like if you ask anyone, my superhero talent is I can fall asleep anywhere at any time. So I was right underneath one of those couches and I would just knock out, and I would do 8 hours in like the blink of an eye. And next thing you know, we're in like Lexington, Kentucky, and it's great.
I'm jealous.
We don't do that anymore. We only take regular coach buses, but some trips you got to bring like some padding, fall asleep on the floor if you can. But some of them, it's been okay because of the two buses. Everyone usually gets like their own row, and you can kind of spread out a little bit. But yeah, one bus, Mafia, some music, cards are played, and then the other one's usually just kind of like quiet. And if you want to read, if you want to put headphones in.
Do you have
That's really cool.
do you have a bus snack or like a bus like when I used to get a bang and a Met RX bar when I used to play. What about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so when we come home, actually going to a road trip and home from a road trip, we get fed. So whatever the meal is on a getaway day, it's usually like pizza or something just really not great, but it is what it is. But coming out here, we got Chick-fil-A, which is nice. So I'll have whatever that is. And then, yeah, usually just, I don't know, some goldfish or whatever snack I can wrestle up from the clubhouse. I'm not too particular about it.
Really cool. Really cool.
Goldfish,
So
sponsor my boy.
yeah, goldfish. Let's get them in a little deal going on. But really enjoyed having you on, Simon. How we wrap up every podcast episode is we get a scratch off ticket, and I scratch it off for our interviewees, and hopefully you win hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we can give it to you to help do whatever you want with your career, maybe keep playing for a while. So as I'm scratching it off, if you have any questions for us, we always like to answer if our interviewees have any questions. If not, maybe Nico or Mark have a few last minute questions before we wrap this up.
Yeah, Simon, if you don't have anything, I want to give a shout out to the guys over at Advanced Therapy and Performance. I know that they're a big part of your career. And I was kind of working with Jake a little bit over there. And this was before you guys went to the new facility, which is awesome. And like just real quick, like how important have those guys been to your career, and when did you get started with them? Like just give people like some background on them, because from my eyes, it's the most impressive sports and like baseball training I've really ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, those guys, it's top tier, and I think there's no debate. I think the best perspective I can bring from it is typically their clientele, especially high school kids and even some college guys. It's like guys that need to seriously develop in the weight room. Your typical, I was one, and I wish I had the strength training at the time, but like your undersized high school kid, hey, you need to put on 20, 30 pounds. Like, let's get stronger in the weight room. You struggle to hold like a body weight squat. Let's work on it. And so they can do that extremely well and extremely effectively. The perspective I bring from it was I came in already a year and a half into pro ball with 4 years of college lifting experience. Like, I was very strong for my size, and I actually had to do all of the little weight stuff. All of the like very minute details. They do both sides of it. Like, they are so good at hammering, hey, this is a deficiency of yours and you're really weak in like a chin up position, so let's hammer it out and get stronger. But they also do the like, hey, you're really strong, but maybe you don't move as efficiently as you could. And so the first, like, I mean, I still get dominated by like 5-pound dumbbells in there, and it's really humbling, but they do both sides of that so well. And so this whole off season for me was just like, how can I move better? And yeah, I'm still going to do some heavyweight stuff, but they will tackle on any task like that. We'll look at video of me running and say like, hey, this is still really good, but like, I would like to see this maybe just a little bit more, maybe your hip rotate or something like that. And the best part about it, like for me as somebody who is very inquisitive and, purposeful, intentional in everything I do, like I'll go up to Brian or Ryan and I'll ask them a question, and like, they always have an answer for me. I'll go up to Brian some days and I'll be like, hey, so I'm thinking if I'm in this position and my knee wants to move inward, like how is my body looking for stability there? And he'll take a step back and he'll be like, okay, well, it could be like your spine doing this, whatever, but he'll always have an answer for me. And I love that about those guys. They are so good with the details that, it really makes it a fun atmosphere to train in.
It's so hard to like kind of like to fully get it across to people unless like they're in there for like a whole day and like see what goes on there. It is, and I think that you're like a perfect guy for them, because kind of like what you said, like you always focus on like those smaller things. it is the most detail oriented training I've ever seen. Like watching them like give you cues as you're doing like a half get up or a quarter get up. I'm like, oh my God, like these guys are looking at every little thing. And like when I first saw it, I was like, would I like that when I'm training? I'm trying to do this and that, but then it's like you see the results and it's like you kind of need to be that like laser focused and that focused on like every little movement if you really want to like unleash like, you know, all the movements in your body, you know, especially for baseball when you're hitting and throwing and things like that.
Yeah, 100%. Like my whole college career and even a little bit of pro ball here, like a lot of strength training is a very cookie cutter approach. It's like everyone is going to do back squat today and everyone is going to bench press. And I think from an outside view looking in, that's what ATP looks like. It's like, oh, everyone lunges, everyone does chin ups, everyone does bear crawls. And so people might think that that's the same kind of thing, but it's really not the case. Like Nico just said, I mean, they are so detail oriented, and the stuff that quote unquote everyone does is just like more or less the fundamental stuff for strength training. But it's very much not like, hey, everyone's going to go in and Brian's just going to put a workout on a whiteboard and that's what everyone's doing today. And I really like that about them. You know, you take ownership of your career, and I'm not doing just the same whiteboard workout as everyone else.
Yeah, very cool. So I think as you guys can tell, we didn't win, or else I would have probably joined in and stopped you guys from talking. No winner here, but hopefully we can have you on again sometime soon, get you another scratch off. This was great. I really enjoyed hearing all the stories, and I know all the listeners will as well. We know you got a game today, so good luck with that. Let you get going to your pregame routine. Really appreciate you coming on. This was really fun, and thank you for coming on, and hopefully we can do it again.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Thank
I had
you
a lot of